นะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะ May we all, humans and non-humans, in all realms of existence, from the lowest hell realms until the Brahma realms, including all the karmic payback zones, humbly bow down towards the first great Buddhas, the Maha Buddhas, the Buddhas in every Buddha era, together with all the followers of Buddhas, men and women, and all the Arahants, the Maha Arahants, in every Buddha era, Pratyeka Buddhas, Maha Pratyeka Buddhas, Maha Bodhisattvas, all the Bodhisattvas, please preside over. May we declare renunciation and evocation of all desired expectations and wishes, both in worldly and in Dhamma. All the deluded desires and expectations within the elements, aggregates, body and mind, within knowledge, seeing, knowing, looking, all the desired expectation within belief values, within customs and traditions. May we declare renunciation and evocation of all deluded desires and expectations towards the graces of the Buddhas, the Mahaparami, towards all the graces, and may we all cancel in all vows which we has done the oath, both in front of the graces and behind the back. All the vows in regards to the Buddhahood, all the vows in regards to ending the missions, all the vows in regards to excellency. May we all, leading one another to declare renunciation and evocation of all of these, and humbly ask for forgiveness for all cases of karma in relation towards the Buddhas in every Buddha era, all the Arahants in every Buddha era, whether the relations are in a good way or bad way, or even in neutral ways, relating with faith or disfaith, or the delusion of rejection or delusion of gossiping, judgment, scolding, rebuking, or keeping others away from them, relating in a good way or bad ways, which has been done in every Buddha era, in every period of time, for all cases of karma. May we all humbly ask for forgiveness towards all the graces to please preside over, forgive, Ahosikam, for all cases of karma from now onwards. Samsara and Nibbana, may it be forgiven altogether in all cases of karma, in all realms. Ahosi, Ahosi, Ahosi. All the karma among one another since the past, before the enlightenment, or even after being aligned with Nibbana. Even the karma among one another amidst the conclusion of the enlightenment, karma that has been done before the Buddha era, in the middle of Buddha eras, or even after Buddha era, for the whole samsara and nibbana, may it be forgiven altogether for all types of karma in all groups of beings, whether one can retrieve it or not, through words, thoughts, and actions, by the gates of perceptions, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind, in relations, in the way that creates karma among one another, whether it is good karma, still karma, bad karma is still karma, even neutral karma is still a karma. It is the karma of delusion, karma of desire and delusive attachments. Even it is neutral karma, not considered as good or bad, meritorious or not, is still karma. Therefore, that's why there must be ahosi for one another. Even being enlightened already, the cause of suffering of karma still remains within samsara, which is the heritage for all sentient beings. They cannot catch up with nibbana. Karma from the past still remains in samsara. That's why the whole samsara and nibbana must ahosi for one another. That's why Ahosikam has to be done. Otherwise, karma will remain, blocking one another across Buddha eras, across Buddha eons of time. Not only just across lifetimes, especially karma towards the Buddhas, towards the truth of Nirodha and Nibbana, which is called Satchadhamma of Nirodha and Nibbana, or the karma towards the fully enlightened ones, the Arahants, or towards Bodhisattvas and Mahabodhisattvas and Buddha seeds. Karma towards Pacceka Buddhas. All of these karma are to be paid back in the way of karmic difficulties across Buddha eras, not just across lifetimes. How long is it for across the Buddha era time? This is the karma towards the triple gem, towards the Mahaparami, through words, thoughts, and actions, which is not aligned with extinction to extinction, emptiness to emptiness altogether. However, the usage of words, thoughts, and actions in a good way or bad way or neutral way, in relation towards the graces, using the gates of perceptions, words, thoughts, and actions towards the graces. This is using karma towards that which is not karma. Use the mind towards that which is not the mind. That's why it's become karmic difficulties for the mind. Using behaviors towards that which is not behaviors. That's why it's become karmic difficulties of behaviors of karma across Buddha eras. Circling with just faith. Circling with just respect. Circling with just being humble towards the graces. Circling with just being need to perform rituals. It's still creating karma as usual. Unable to end within the ending itself. circling with just performing meritorious rituals is still performing of karma as usual. Circling with just respect and being humble is still behaviors of karma, unable to end within the ending itself, unable to cease within the ceasing itself. This is because of the samudaya has been dragged oneself along since the past. From being rude, being vulgar, all the behaviors through words, thoughts, and actions which are not appropriate towards the graces. Therefore, they have to compensate by being humble and giving respect with humility, always performing meritorious rituals, unable to come down from creating karma, unable to end within the ending itself. When using behaviors toward that which is not behaviors, being deluded to use the mind towards that which is not the mind. Once being deluded to give significance toward that which is not significance, which is not substantial. All such delusion will bounce back to oneself in the way that always giving significance and meanings on and on for a long period of time. Being deluded to give significance to mind towards that which is not about anything, it turns into karmic difficulties to always using the mind in such a way for a long period of time. Continuously, for a long period of time further on, unable to end within the ending itself, cease within the ceasing itself. This is all about the samudaya through Buddha eras since the past. That's why Ahosikam must be humbly done. Otherwise, karma will always dragging oneself a long way. A lot of gossiping, a lot of scolding, a lot of rebuking. One have to always pay back by praising a lot towards the graces. Still creating karma as usual. Praising until the throat is dry. Still creating karma as usual. Even it is meritorious karma is still a karma anyway. Because being obsessed to use behaviors towards that which is not behaviors of karma, therefore one still creates karma as usual. Using practices towards that which is not about practices. Therefore, it becomes karma and karmic difficulties in practicing, moving onwards in such a way on and on. The more practices, the more it is unending. The more practices, it continues within karmic difficulties in practices, adding on top further and further. This is because the practice itself is karma, is behaviors of karma. Being obsessed to use behaviors towards that which is not behaviors. What is it that is not behaviors of karma? Nibbana is not behavior. Being obsessed to use behaviors for attaining Nibbana, how can there be Nibbana? The practice itself is the thing, is the behaviors. Creating terminologies to look good, to look nice. But those terminologies turn into the terminologies of samudaya, the cause of karma. It sounds good by praising the grace of Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. Made up terminologies to look it to look good, but it's still behaviors of karma, just dwelling within the stain of worldly dhamma, still being worldling ways as usual, fixated to gossiping and praising. This is the stain of the worldly dhamma, still behaviors as usual, unable to end within the ending, unable to cease within the ceasing itself, unable to put down the putting down itself, unable to let go of the letting go itself. They are only behaviors of karma. Unable to let go of the letting go itself, unable to put down the putting down itself. They are just the made up of behaviors of karma. Aiming towards putting down or letting go, these are behaviors of karma as usual. Unable to end the ending itself. Being obliged to just letting go or putting down. Unable to put down the putting down itself. This is just still behaviors of karma, still karma as usual. Still there is the delusion to practice as usual. Unable to discard the discarding itself, aiming to discard in this way and that way. Still, these are behaviors of karma as usual. Unable to discard the discarding itself is unable to end within the ending itself, unable to end. Being obsessed with behaviors of karma. That's why there must be ending of the karma, ceasing the karma, Ahosikam, to end the karma. Forgiveness statement for releasing karma. Why do we have to declare renunciation and revocation of the desire and expectations? Because all of you all the realms of existence are at the time of grasping for that which is not about grasping. Once you are grasping for that which is not about grasping, that's why it turns into karmic difficulties to always deludedly having desire and expectations to gain, to attain at all times. This is the samudaya within the desire and expectations that has been done for a long time, all the time. You are grasping for that which is not about grasping. That's why it becomes karmic difficulties within all that initiation of the mind, setting up for attainments, always suffering within such desire and expectations, always struggling within it all the time. It turns into realms of existence that is detained with one's own desire and expectations deludedly. It creates realms within the mind, realms within Dhamma of the mind, and creating external realms within samsara. This is because of the adding on within the desire and expectations for attainment. Deludedly setting up desire and expectations since when? Whether it is assumed called worldly or Dhamma. Grasping towards something that is anatta, that is meaningless, that is empty in itself, that is grasping for that which is not about grasping. It turns into the values of samudaya, which is the belief values, which is cause of karma within itself, unnoticed, unrealized. All these desire expectations for attainment is the cause of karma within such a desire. It is the suffering and the cost of suffering within the desire expectations for attainment, but it is unrealized. The practice itself is the practice of the cause of karma, cause of suffering, and the suffering itself. This is unrealized. That which is persevered for and practiced for attainment is trying to grasp for the cause of suffering, the samudaya, and it is both the cause of suffering and the suffering in itself. From the desire expectations for attainment, how can its ending? Once the setup for attainment is there, it's still being realm of existence within mindfulness. It is realms within mindfulness, setting up for concentration, contemplation, wisdom, insights, or whatever types of dharma that one is expecting for attainment is realm of existence within such dharma. Setting up for attainment within sound, smell, taste, touches, or whatever. It's realms of existence within such a matter. That's why it's becoming samsara at large. This is unnoticed. This is the samudaya within the desire expectations for attainment itself. All these wishes, desire, calling for, or having an oath for, and vows for, it is the cause of suffering and the suffering within itself. This is unrealized. Practicing only the samudaya all along until now. Practicing the cause of suffering and the suffering all along until now. Unnoticed, unrealized. That's why we have to declare renunciation and revocation to purify the program of the samudaya. That's why we have to declare renunciation and revocation of all the desire expectations in all matters. Purify all the desire and delusive attachment that is set up. The program like this is the program of karma actually. This is unrealized. Worldly ways or dharma ways that one expecting for attainment is practicing the samudaya, the cause of suffering and the suffering. All the delusion to practice for is unrealized that it is the samudaya within such a practice itself. All the kammasthana that has been practiced is the samudaya within such meditation practice itself. The name is kammasthana, the karma of the basis of the body and the mind, of the vedana. That is the karma overlaying dhamma. That's why it's called kammasthana. Karma for the basis. Unrealized that it is karma overlaying dhamma. Grasping for that which is not about grasping. Deludedly letting go towards that which has nothing to do with letting go in whatever ways. Towards that which is non-attachment as it is. That is still being deluded to let go of. Let go of the letting go of itself. If unable to do that, is unending. Being deluded to let go or not letting go of something. That's why one has to declare renunciation and revocation of all the root cause of desire expectation, which is all about delusion, delusive attachment and desire, which is deep-rooted within the assumed dhamma. How to call it? Forming up dhamma and then being deluded to the assumed dhamma. Even dhamma has no desire within itself is called anatta dhamma. Dhamma that is meaningless in itself. Even all dhamma has no desire within themselves. They are called anatta dhamma, anicca dhamma. All dhamma that doesn't grasp themselves However, they forming up Dhamma and then grasping for Dhamma, practicing only the samuttai without realizing the truth. All Dhamma that is made up and grasping for itself, what is called? That is the delusion within Dhamma actually. Even Dhamma have no desire for itself. Anatta Dhamma, that which is not attached even to the non-attachment itself totally. Why being obsessed to try to attach or not attach? If with this essence not attached to non-attachment, without this, then it's impossible to end. Do you regret the declaration from the desire expectations? You are so addictive, huh? Unrealized at all. Form up and then being fixated to the perfection in this way and that way, to declare renunciation of all the attachment to the perfection is feels so terrible, huh? So addictive to it, huh? Grasping for that which is not about grasping. That's why it's impossible to come down to terms with Nibbana. Unable to put down the putting down itself, let go of the letting go itself. There is just the desire expectations for attainment. Being so fixated to the desire and expectations, that's why we have to declare renunciation and revocation of all desires, expectations, of all types of belief values, of all wishes, of all types of values that given to all the oaths and vows. No matter what is in one's preference, just declare, cancel all of that. They are the samuttai within those oaths and vows. They are not the vows of Nirodha and Nibbana. They still have the wishes that overlaying on top of those oaths and vows. They are the samuttai within themselves. That's why there must be declaration of revocation of all such desire and expectations without doubts and hesitation at all. Grasping until so confused, set up to attain until there is hesitation, setting up for attainment until you are so awkward, doubt and hesitate to give up or not. What's better? Still being deluded to grasp towards that which is not about grasping, still having doubts to better giving up or not, still having doubt and hesitation, huh? Being deluded to perform both meritorious and that which is not meritorious. These are all about karma and samuttai, cause of suffering and suffering within itself. Put down the putting down itself so that it's enabled for ending, child. Let's not be obsessed to perform meritorious karma. Let's not be babbling for praising and gossiping on and on. Let's not be obsessed to perform meritorious karma. Declare renunciation and revocation of all root cause within the desired expectations towards all types of karma. In this way, it will give ending towards the process of karma. Let's not be obsessed with good karma or bad karma on and on. Nibbana has nothing to do with karma. Nibbana is not considered as karma. And you all still being obsessed with karma, how can there be Nibbana, huh? Disengage from disengaging itself. Cease the ceasing itself. Not attached to the non-attachment itself, cease the ceasing itself. To be obsessed with practices, how can there be Nibbana? Because practicing itself is behaviors of karma. Nibbana is not karma. Nibbana is not behaviors. Nibbana is not considered as anything at all. In conclusion, Nibbana is not even Nibbana itself. Being deluded to perform, to make up something in order to reach something that has nothing to do with behaviors of karma. This is unrealized. Being obsessed to make up behaviors in order to reach that which is not behaviors of karma, unrealized that it will turn into karmic difficulties in such behaviors for a lengthy time into the future. For everything, disengage from disengaging itself. In this way, it will enable for ending within the ending itself. Cease the ceasing itself. There is no need to try to seize anything for everything so that it's possible for ending. Everything is ceasing within the ceasing itself, not attached to the non-attachment itself simultaneously with everything. Ending and helping through ending will be possible for samsara. Everything is uninvolved within the uninvolved itself, proceeding simultaneously with this essence. In this way, ending and helping through ending for samsara is possible. Everything is not attached to the non-attachment itself, cease the ceasing itself. Ending and help through ending will be simultaneous for everything. This is not for the sake of oneself, aiming towards ending for the sake of ending, still grasping. This is proceeding through the essence of cease within the ceasing itself for everything, disengage from disengaging itself simultaneously. This way, ending and help through ending will be simultaneous. Cutting and help through cutting will be simultaneous. cutting deluded knowing and helping through cutting deluded knowing is simultaneous. This is not in the way of making a conclusion for the sake of oneself, ending for oneself. How can there be a grasping way? It's not about grasping. It's for everything. Disengaged from disengaging itself, uninvolved within the uninvolved itself, proceeding simultaneously through this essence. Disengage from disengaging itself simultaneously, child. This is called ending, and helping through ending is proceeding simultaneously. I already said, without disengaging, there's no ending. But if just disengaging is not ending gracefully, to end gracefully, it has to be ending simultaneously. Disengaged from disengaging itself simultaneously. This is not just not attached individually. Non-attachment is for everything. Not attached to the non-attachment itself simultaneously is not for individuality. This is not ending individually only. To end gracefully, it is ending, and helping through ending is to be proceeding simultaneously. There is no one truly gain or lose anything within samsara and nibbana. This is just by one's own understanding regarding gaining or losing. No one truly gains or loses anything for both nibbana and samsara. This is just a delusion to think, to have such an idea. It's a pre-assumption by one's own interpretations deludedly. The anatta doesn't grasp itself. The anicca doesn't grasp itself as it is. How can there be truly someone who is gaining or losing anything? This is just one's own pre-assumption. In one's own delusion to pre-assume and understand deludedly by one's own thought. Everything is my. Everything is my, even from my itself, not attached, even from the non-attachment itself. In this way, it's enabled for ending within the ending itself, cease within the ceasing itself.